When a boy's beloved dog passes away suddenly, he attempts to bring the animal back to life through a powerful science experiment.
Welcome to the Walt Vault with
Michelle,
Andre,
Louise,
and me, Emily. We're a family-friendly podcast where we pick a new Disney movie each week. We watch it, share our thoughts, and then relate it to pop culture, fandoms, and anything else that pops into our heads. Enjoy!
hello and welcome to the Walt Vault, episode 52.
50 dose.
50 dose?
Yeah, that's how you say 52.
No.
Stop.
Didn't you know?
Anyway, this week we are talking about 2012's stop-motion animated Disney movie
With Tim Burton.
directed by Tim Burton,
He's not in it.
Starring Tim Burton.
Frankenweenie.
Yep.
Frankenweenie.
That's not how it goes. That's the Haunted Mansion song.
Frankenweenie. And that's Nightmare Before Christmas for you.
Yes.
You're welcome.
So we're talking about Frankenweenie. Do you guys have any first impressions?
First impression, weird.
All right.
Weird, and it made me cry. There we go.
Emily?
Emily, first impression.
It was a movie.
It was a movie.
I'm just going to say, not my taste. So I'm going to have a hard time doing things.
Yeah, definitely not my favorite Tim Burton movie.
Not my... yeah.
I mean, that's true.
Mm-hmm.
I can agree with that.
But it also was extremely morbid and made me feel feelings that felt...
Feely.
Yeah, I
Feelful.
felt weird when I went to bed last night. I was like,
I felt
"Ugh."
lots of feels. So
Man, I
that's...
didn't feel any feels.
Andre, first impression.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah, because you fell asleep halfway through.
Okay. First impression upon my first viewing, I watched the entire thing. First impression upon this second viewing, I may or may not have fallen asleep midway through the movie.
Question, though, was it because of the caliber of the movie, or were you tired as tired?
We were
It
tired.
was tiredys.
And the movie's in black and white, so there was
That
nothing.
did not make me tired
There was
at
nothing
all.
Because black and white equals tired.
Well, there was
Boom.
less visual.
Stimulation.
Yeah.
I get you.
I liked it. It's fun, light.
Fun. Light.
I liked it.
Dark.
There was
morbid.
light.
There was some darkness.
What
but there
light
was
did you
also
see,
some light.
Andre?
Dog came back to life twice, y'all. Okay.
You know what
you
light
gotta
he
see,
saw?
Died
You gotta
twice.
see. You gotta see the glass half full. You know what I'm saying? He came back twice.
A lot of bad stuff also happened, like the entire movie, but you know.
Well, I'll just
Kitty
start
came back even though I wasn't dead. That's cool.
To each their own, sir. You're making me so frustrated that I'm squishing this sweet and
Can
sour
you-
cup. It's
Don't-
going to squish
Please
everywhere.
don't squish that.
I do not want sweet and sour all over my kitchen. Get it out of here.
Anyway.
Okay, I took it away like a true mom would.
Anyway, so
Let's start right at the beginning because one of the coolest things about this whole movie was the opening castle scene.
Yeah.
Did you not?
castle?
The Disney castle.
Shut up. The Disney castle.
Oh, I thought you meant in the
That was actually
movie.
really cool.
Yeah,
Did you
it
think
was
That
cool.
was cool, yes.
I
Because
liked
I don't. Had it happened before that movie came out? Because I feel like it's been happening more often where
Yeah,
the castle pops up.
I feel like
I wonder how long
it
they've been
does
doing the
now.
new castle.
It happens, yeah.
Did they have the new castle for Princess and the Frog?
Yeah.
They did? Okay.
Now they do the castles like in theme to the movie.
Yeah, and I really.
Yeah.
But I mean, that was 2012. Like that was a. Oh, I guess it's
I
not
think
that
they were
long
doing
ago.
it before
Yeah.
that because they were doing it with. Yeah, they were doing it.
Okay, well, I
Yeah.
thought it was really cool. I liked how they got making Christmas.
You liked
on
it
us.
because it
Yeah.
was spoopy.
Spoopy.
Spoopy
Spoopy.
castle.
Andre
Spoopy
gets so mad
castle.
when I say spoopy. He'd be like, "It's spooky." I'm like, "Nah, it's spoopy."
I think that might be one of the reasons that I like this movie so much. Is that it kind of
Was
reminded
spoopy?
me of Nightmare Before Christmas.
It reminded me nothing of Nightmare Before Christmas.
I mean, not in like its content or anything like that, but like, you know, the style.
No, Nightmare
Christmas?
Before Christmas is so fun.
No, of like claymation and Tim Burton and stuff.
Well, yeah, that's his style,
yeah,
but
that's what I mean.
you can't. It didn't remind me of it
I have
at all.
so many things to say, and I just
start saying
can't-
them.
No, I can't yet because it's gonna go into the
Oh, okay.
later.
Yeah, we'll get there.
And there's just so many things. My legs are shaking under
So
the
let's
table.
okay.
Stop that,
I'll start us
that's
off.
pain.
So the movie introduces us to two
A movie.
characters. We
it
have
starts with the movie.
Starts with the movie.
It
Yeah,
does start with the
it
movie.
does. We have the dog.
Sparky.
His name is Sparky. He's not a Frankenweenie yet. His name is Sparky. He's alive. Okay? He is the dog.
He is a dog,
He is
yes.
alive.
He is the dog of a child named
The dog of a child.
Finn.
Finn?
What's his name?
Victor!
Yeah.
Like Frankenstein. Like Victor Frankenstein.
Oh, yeah. I
The
knew
hell
that.
you get Finn from?
Finn?
You know, there was a lot of things in this movie like Elsa Van Helsing. And I was
Oh,
like,
yeah.
is that
Yeah,
supposed
Van
to be a
Helsing.
reference? But I
Yes.
don't watch scary stuff.
Yes,
so, like,
yes,
I know
and yes.
things were references, but I was also like, eh.
Van Helsing is a monster hunter. He hunts all the classic monsters.
So
and
what?
Elsa was supposed to be someone else, and I wrote it down
Yeah, I
somewhere.
don't know about that.
Anyways, so
Not the Ice Queen though.
Victor,
so, like, don't
a
get
boy,
excited.
has the cutest dog ever named Sparky. He's the for
target
this-
dog.
Yes. For this movie, I'm not going to say he's actually a really cute dog because he kind of looks like a hot mess. But
He's
that's
a-
also because claymation is a hot mess
Yeah,
to
he's a
me.
claymation
Like, they
dog.
look creepy, you know. So
Yeah.
he's a hot mess of a dog. But is he cute? Is he loyal? Does he like to fetch balls? Yes, he does. Therefore, he's a great dog.
You want to know why he's a great dog? Because I don't think Victor's a weird kid, even though his dad does.
Right.
But Victor's like he wants to be a little filmmaker,
Yeah,
and he's making this really cool movie, and that dog is all up in it. Like
Right.
He's so
doing
cute.
what
He's an action star.
Yeah, and
He's
I
a good
appreciate
boy.
that.
Sparky's awesome.
Yeah, good boy.
Sparky's a good boy.
Because it's cool because in the beginning, Sparky is playing like this monster that's like destroying the whole city. And then the freaking turtle rises up towards the end and he's like destroying the whole city, getting this Godzilla on. Couple characters got to have their Godzilla get on in this movie.
Yeah, there's a lot of Godzilla references.
We went from one polar to the other polar of this whole movie. Yes.
Yeah, you went there.
Yeah.
What
I
was his
went
name?
there.
Shelley?
Tim Burton went there.
Shelly.
That's my nickname, y'all. Those are my childhood nickname.
No, but you're not a turtle. Shelley.
That's true. I am not a turtle.
Although you do
I am
move
not a
slowly
turtle.
I'm not a turtle.
every once in a while.
Okay, so yes, he's making this movie. He's very into science. So we have like another little Meet the Robinsons kid who likes to invent things and he likes science and he likes to. You can tell he's like an experimental child. He likes to do lots of experiments. He doesn't like people and he
Nope.
wants to be to himself. You know,
Word.
that's nothing weird about a kid to me. There's a lot of kids like that.
Sounds a lot like me.
So they live in a town called New Holland, which is a very peculiar town because
Holland?
it storms every night.
Every night there's lightning and rain and thunder.
So people get hit by lightning there quite frequently, apparently.
They say like,
Which is-
my uncle got hit 30 times or something crazy like that.
I was like, oh, dang. So when the new science teacher comes into town, they're explaining to him, like, yeah, New Holland, it rains here every night, and there's lots of lightning, which is kind of when we're introduced to where this movie's going a little bit. At first, I was like, why is this relevant? Like, I don't care that the town has so much lightning. I don't know.
love the teacher. The teacher was really funny to me.
The teacher?
You want to
Yes.
know what I wrote about the
he
teacher?
has a big mouth.
So much face on the science teacher. I thought his chin was part of his sweater.
I wrote, the science teacher has a long face.
I literally
Yeah, he
was looking
does.
at it and I thought like his face stopped right under his nose. And I was like,
No.
that
No,
makes
his
sense.
mouth
It's
is
like
down.
mustache and
I
mouth
wish you
down
guys
there.
could see what I'm doing. His nose is here, but his mouth is down here. It's like,
It's like by his sternum. Like, what is happening?
Yeah, he was
Under his
creepy.
breastbone is
Yeah.
this
I
chin.
didn't really like the science teacher that much. He was okay. I did like the weird kid with the hunchback.
He had okay.
Edgar.
Okay.
My name's Edgar.
Worst character in the whole world. I wanted to punch him
What?
every.
He
I'll
was
be Louise for
funny.
you. Awful.
I
Disgusting.
will
Why?
agree in that
Sickening.
He's
his
gross.
fingers are awful. I don't want him to have those fingers in any way. Somebody
Edgar's
chop
fingers.
off the fingers. Frankenweenie, get up here and get those away from him.
Edgar's fingers are like bowler hat guy, and the science teacher is also like bowler hat guy's
Yes.
face.
But he was
Oh, he
so
looks just
funny.
like Bowler
He's
Hat
like,
Guy.
just be my friend and do my science project for me. That's what he sounds like, by the way.
Disgusting.
Yeah,
It's
Ew.
funny,
because he's
though.
like Igor.
Yeah, I
His
know.
last name is Igor.
I
Is
thought
it
that guy
Edgar
was.
Igor? I
liked
missed that.
That was one of the references I got. I thought it was funny.
Igor.
I thought it was funny. Just so you know. I thought it was funny.
Ew.
Get your fingers out. Of
You
the
know who
movie.
was ew? The girl who had beady eyes that were the size of a pinprick.
See, okay.
Didn't like her.
I didn't find this
with
movie
her
to be
kitty.
that scary or disturbing, except for that girl.
So terrifying.
She will haunt my nightmares forever.
Her name was
Mr.
Weird Girl. That's what she was credited as.
This is Mr. Whiskers. I'm like, shut
Yeah.
up, girl. You creepy.
Mr. Whiskers is.
I did not
no
like her.
good.
No.
So this is the next thing it says in my notes. After the face on the science teacher, the only normal person is Sparky, and he's a dog.
Right.
The parents aren't that bad. They're pretty normal.
Yeah.
The dad could blink a little bit more. His eyes are just open
Poor
all the
Victor
time.
always has bags under his eyes. He needs to get some sleep.
Yeah.
And then I wrote WTF Mr. Whiskers, the car, and this girl with cat poop.
Yeah, so...
She was carrying cat poop in her pocket
All day long.
Okay, so let's get some context.
At work.
They're in
At-
the science
at work.
teacher's class.
Cool.
I can't have any context. It's so crazy.
And the science teacher says, we're going to have a science fair. And you're going to bring your experiments, and then there's a prize. I don't know what the prize was. There's a prize.
A trophy.
Yeah, probably.
That's
So
what it
Victor
was.
goes home, and he has the paper. Oh, wait. No, this happens before.
Mm-hmm.
So, what's her name? Weird Girl?
Weird girl.
Okay, Weird Girl apparently has her cat at school. Come on. That's not going to happen. She has
Mr. Whiskers.
Mr. Whiskers.
Mr. Whiskers.
And apparently I can't even say because it's
Defecates.
so
When
stupid.
he poops.
He is psychic.
he poops in letters.
Yeah.
He poops psychic abilities.
And those letters refer to specific people, and it means something
There was a V
big
for
is about
Victor,
to happen.
so it was an omen that something.
There was
big's
like
gonna
a
happen
B
in-
for
There was
one
like there was like
kid.
an H.
Yeah, it was like the first letter of their names.
Yeah.
And something big happened on that day.
I'm
It could
just
be
saying,
good,
if
but
I
it could be really
poop a
bad.
letter, that sounds so uncomfortable. Like, I don't
Well, I
want
think it all came out at once. I think
Ew.
it pooped into the shape of the letter.
That's disgusting.
Stop! I
And-
hate
Me.
this so much. I hate this so much.
Right into the litter
Man,
box
when he-
of destiny.
When that cat pooped a bee, he had a lot of poop in him then.
And Victor
It was
goes,
like a.
Victor goes, did you get that out of the litter box? And she's like, so serious. She's like, this is an omen.
No, she's the
Completely
creepiest.
disregarded
I don't
that.
know who played her voice, but God, I hated it. Ugh.
That's a good
It's
question.
Was that a Catherine, or what's her name?
Catherine O'Hara.
Was that a her?
Catherine O'Hara played, yes, Mrs. Frankenstein, Weird Girl, and Gym Teacher. And then Martin Short played Mr. Frankenstein, Mr. Burgermeister, and Nasser.
See, it's like I have an appreciation for this movie in that way. Like, there's references, and there's, like, Catherine O'Hara voices people in it, and that's cool.
Yeah.
But the movie itself,
Poop a letter.
poop a letter. So Victor
we
goes
know
home.
something's going to happen
Something
because
Apparently
big is
something-
going to happen to Victor.
Something big is going to happen to
The
Victor.
poop has spoken.
Victor goes home, and he's like, listen, Dad, here's my permission slip. Please sign it. And his dad is doing some weird, lengthy speech about compromising. He needs to calm down. And he says, I'll sign it if you do some baseball. That's
Yeah.
the worst.
The dad was doing really good in the beginning of the movie because he was like being all enthusiastic while he was watching Victor's little movie. He was like, "Oh, look at such a big monster! Wow, the string!" Whatever he was saying. But then he gets to this scene, he was like, "You know what, son? Like, you got to compromise sometimes. You can't always get what you want. I can't always get what I want. You can't always get what you want. How about you don't do science and instead do baseball?"
No, he said he can do science. He just has to try baseball.
Oh.
I know he said you got to do baseball. He said you don't want to try. He
Yeah,
said
and
you
all
do it.
you know
Do
is
it.
the next day, Dad's like, look at that Yoko Ono guy. Whatever his name is. Yukimura.
Yoko Ono guy.
Anyways. He's like, he knows how to do baseball. You're going to do baseball too. Why are you guys laughing at me? Who's Yoko Ono? I don't even know.
You don't know who Yoko Ono is?
No, it just came out of my mouth.
All right, kids, here's a little lesson.
Back it the hell up.
There's a band. They're called the
Beatles?
They're from the 60s. One of the band members, John Lennon, he married a woman named Yoko Ono.
And she was Asian, right?
She was
happened to be.
Asian. Yes, that is.
I knew that. I just
that is
forgot.
a fact about her. And then she proceeded to break up the Beatles.
Pretty much.
Well, there we go. Yoko Ono ruining Frankenweenie.
The Yoko Ono guy, you know. That
Do
guy.
you mean Toshiaki? Not even a little bit close.
Close enough.
You could have called him Big Hero 6 or something. That would've been close.
Yoko
Tadashi would have
Ono.
been closer.
Right. Anyway.
Ugh.
So,
Jeez. I can't.
So yeah, Victor starts playing baseball, and while baseball is happening, where was Sparky at? Was Sparky at home?
No,
tied
Sparky
up.
was trying to get onto the field.
That's right.
And so his dad got kind of annoyed and was like, tie him up.
Mhm.
And so he goes to tie him up, and Victor realized, like, honestly, that baseball wasn't. I don't want to make it sound like baseball is not hard, but that as a scientist, if you understand velocity, physics, those types of things,
geometry.
That's how you're going to hit the ball versus just swinging at anything. Because at first he was kind of just making a mess of himself.
Yeah.
Then he thought, like, I can look at this from a scientist approach or scientific approach and hit the ball.
Yeah.
And when he
Gotta hit
does,
this parabola.
yeah. And when he does, ooh, parabola, that was nice.
Thank you. I remember math.
Wow.
That's like really shapes, but it's a math shape.
I remember math shapes.
Bell curves. When he hit it, Sparky got off of his leash and went to go chase the ball. And such tragedy struck.
Literally struck. It struck him in the form of a car hitting his body.
That's why I don't like this movie.
And so you know what my notes
the show
say
was
next?
out already as
Look,
soon as Sparky got hit.
My next thing is Dad killed the dog.
Yeah,
Dad killed the dog.
Dad killed the dog. Dr. Frankenstein. Do no harm. So yeah.
So at that point in the movie, Michelle was pissed because I can't deal with animals, let alone dogs, dying in movies. And I should have known. Come on, the movie's called Frankenweenie. I knew he was going to get hit by a car and die. I didn't cry or anything at that point, but it's freaking sad because Victor's like, no, and his parents are holding him back. And
I
that's
also
terrible.
screamed no while when Sparky got hit. I wrote in my notes. I literally screamed out, no, no. Dang, even the poodle is sad. Sweet Christmas, no.
Sweet Christmas.
Also,
Sweet
I'll have you
Christmas.
know that. I'll have you know. Shut up! I said it.
Have you know?
She hasn't
I'll
said it
have
in
you
such a
know
long time.
that while I'm watching this movie, my dog Dougie is laying on my lap, just being a cute little boy, and I'm just petting him, and then the dog gets hit, and you look down at your dog, and you're like, no.
This is playing a major factor into how Michelle is enjoying the movie.
No, it's how I was not enjoying the movie.
Well, exactly.
Yes.
it was playing into the fact that you now hated this movie.
Yep.
So from that moment on, it got really dark. I mean, if it wasn't already black and white dark, now it's physically and emotionally dark.
Yeah, super dark.
And I officially hated the dad.
Dad was dumb.
So the next day in school, the science teacher is... Honestly, the science teacher was a really good science teacher. He
Yeah,
had
he
a
was.
weird approach
Yeah.
kind of to things, and he talked...
Just kind of yelling at them.
Yeah.
and
like, and
kinda
when I say
being
he talked weird, I know that sounds
melancholy.
stupid. Yeah, he just wasn't...
Every science teacher I've met's weird. So,
But because he was more of a scientist
True.
than he was like a science teacher.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
But
The lightning is raining down on the ground and the man is in the way.
everyone's like, oh, it's
Oh.
completing a circuit and then boom! Oh my, okay.
Nice.
So the
Passionate
science
about
teacher
lightning.
then is explaining how bodies are pretty much a circuit and how with electricity, the circuit doesn't matter if there's life or not. The circuit is still completed.
Right.
So
He like shows the frog getting
yeah,
electrocuted.
so he like electrocutes a dead frog pretty much, and that's what gives Victor the idea to.
You guys
Muscles
never
do
did
some
that in high school.
spasming.
We did. We took a little electric probes and poked a frog.
No.
And then the frog's
Did we do
legs
that,
would go.
Andre?
And I was like, ah!
I dissected a frog.
Yeah,
In
I did
junior
that
high, I
too.
think.
Yes, in junior high, and then in high school I dissected a rat.
Oh, I
What the heck? I did not do that.
We
Dissect a
dissected.
rat?
You guys don't.
I dissected
wanna,
an
You don't want to
eyeball.
know. You don't want to know.
What in the world? I
Yeah.
didn't do that.
Our science teacher in high school brought in a cow stomach. They went
Oh,
to the
stop.
They went to the cow place. They brought in a cow stomach and they
Went
opened
to the cow place.
They opened it up and we were supposed to look at the intestines and things like that.
I need you to stop right
and
now.
there was a baby in it.
There was a baby cow in there?
It's not a giant baby cow. It was a little tiny fetus, but yeah, there was a baby cow in it. So
Oh.
then we dissected the baby cow too.
Wow.
My science teacher was Emily's face.
That's kind of wild.
You know what life I'm working in right now, right? You know that I'm pregnant. That is so unfortunate.
Sorry.
Let's take it back a couple notches. I'm
Well,
like
no
disgusted.
one, Emily, no one's stealing your stomach. You're
Well,
okay.
thanks. I'm glad. Mine is my own. I appreciate that. So Victor gets the idea that he's going to reanimate the dog, and he goes to the freaking pet cemetery, which very
The
vague,
Pet Cemetery.
which totally reminded me of like the Pet Cemetery, like
Yes.
from Stephen
That
King.
Which
is a
right?
Andre
Stephen
is
King
currently
book.
reading.
I am reading it right now.
Oh, that's
so
hilarious.
This was very apropos.
You want to hear a funny story
Sure.
about how Andre reads the Pet Cemetery book
Out
with
loud.
headphones in, listening to scary music?
Listen,
That's-
I go to my music streaming player of choice. I type in horror movie soundtracks. I hit shuffle, and I get to reading my scary
So
books.
the other day I was like, what's happening in the book? And he's like, nothing's really scary right now. but Michael Myers' song is on, so I'm real confused.
It just makes everything a little bit creepier. He's like talking to his neighbor. I'm like, oh,
He said
what's
it
going on with this guy?
enhances the reading experience.
Yeah, dude.
Ooh, Jaws.
In case you wanted to enhance your reading experience,
Yeah.
apparently that's how you
Enhance your reading experience.
out of
Throw
here.
some headphones on.
You know what tripped me out? There was so many dead pets.
Yes.
do it. Uh-huh.
And I wonder if that's because of the electrocution. Like, if everyone really is getting hit that much.
Sure, that's
like,
true.
That might be the reason
That
why
might
there's
be
so
the
many.
reason.
But, like, this town is not that old.
In the book
Like-
Pet Cemetery, the Pet Cemetery that's there, it goes back like hundreds of years or whatever.
But this town isn't that old, right?
Right, yeah.
Like, they were
It's
founded.
New Holland. It's
the
not old
newest
Holland.
So it's kind of weird that there's that many dead animals now. Do you know what I mean?
Right, yeah.
I don't know. I just feel like.
Yeah, the mortality rate in New Holland is not very high.
And I'm pretty sure it's all the
Praise be
mayor's
New
fault.
Holland. Just so you know.
I thought you were going to sing the whole song.
No,
I
that's all
think
I
it
know.
was the mayor's fault. I think he'd just be killing all the
Oh,
animals.
yeah. The
What?
mayor does not see.
Burgermeister Meisterburger.
Yeah.
He's not happy the dogs are pooping on his
Bob.
flowers and stuff.
Pooping in letters. Done.
Yeah, the mayor's crazy. I don't like
So he goes to the cemetery. He digs up
him. Digs up a grave.
the grave, which is very.
That's morbid.
It was hard, kind of to watch.
That was creepy. Yeah.
was-
It was
it
a creepy move
Yeah.
on Victor's part.
You know what was hard is because this entire movie I'm thinking about the first week we adopted our dog, he escaped from our apartment and he ran across the street and I thought like he was going to get hit by a car and die. There was no cars even near us, but I was freaking out, right? So then I was like putting myself in this Victor's shoes, like if my dog died, would I dig him out of a grave and try to bring him back to life? Like, no, I wouldn't. But like I can see where that
But
poor
if you
kid's
had the
coming from.
technology.
That's
Yeah, which
so
is
pretty.
a which is
Yeah,
a
no, I
stretch.
still wouldn't.
Well, and I think that's where this movie is hard for me because I feel like there's a and I know that they say this in the movie that science. He's like, science is not about wrong or right or whatever. But I kind of disagree with that. Like, there's an
Yeah.
ethical piece where it's like,
Well, and I think that's also why when
There's
most
definitely
of
a right
the
way to do
animals come
a
back
lot
to
of this
life
stuff.
in the end, we'll get there. They're all
Crazy.
messed
Monsters.
up because
Yeah.
they're messed up. They want to be at peace, you know. Poor Shelly.
So Victor brings Sparky, the unfortunately dead dog, back into the house
Yep.
to take him.
Almost gets caught.
Almost gets caught, and the parents are watching a freaking live action
They're watching
movie.
Dracula.
They're watching Dracula, but that's hilarious because it's like our version of Dracula,
Yes.
not like a remade.
Not like a claymation Dracula. It's Dracula. Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Did you not think that was funny? I thought that was funny.
I never seen Dracula.
But they
still,
were
it was
people.
live action. It
Oh,
was
I
live
thought that
action
part
in
was
San
funny.
Diego.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought you meant was it funny? It was Dracula. I was
Oh,
like, I didn't
no.
know it was Dracula.
No, well, yeah.
He tried to suck her blood.
Yeah.
Well, oh well.
So I think the coolest part of this movie came up next is when he does the experiment for the first time.
That is really cool.
I think that it was cool how he utilized all kinds of different electricity, not just
Yes.
like one. I thought he was just going to try to electrocute the dog.
Right, with the sky.
Yeah. But
Basically.
he had like every
He had
type
every
of electricity
appliance
going.
up
He
there.
stole his mom's waffle iron.
Yeah.
Robots.
He had it all going at the same time.
Miniature
TV.
light up reindeer.
And I was thinking that that's also like a reason why Sparky came back so nicely because he used so much, whereas everybody else kind of just like did like a little zap and
Yeah.
then brought their animal back to life. And it,
Here's my problem
Backfired.
with the whole thing, though. Two major issues with this. Number one, how are the parents not aware that there is a literal electricity storm in their...
in
they
their
live
attic?
in New Holland.
The attic of this house is larger than my entire apartment.
And
okay?
here's my second problem. Are you ready?
Yeah.
When you look at the house from the outside, there's no second story.
Right. There's no second story.
Oh,
There's
I
no
never noticed
skylight.
that.
So what's
So none of
the
this
truth,
actually happened. It's all a figment
Frankenweenie?
of our imagination.
I kind of think so.
I mean, I guess.
That's
I
not
don't know.
even the problem I have with this. The
There's no second story. How can you be in a second story? Give me a second story.
Well, I'm not going to lie. We were in a house yesterday that we thought didn't have two stories from the outside, but it
But
did.
it did. That's true.
No, but I saw the back hills
Right.
rolling.
Anyways,
Rolling.
that's kind of freaky. But the problem I
that was
have,
cool.
problem I have with this is okay. Sparky wakes up and he's Frankenweenie, now. The problem I have is that
His tail flops off.
no,
Yes.
that's really
sorry.
gross, and his ear flops off, and it's gross, right? It's gross. But the problem
I couldn't
I
get past
have with it he even like puts a patch on his back. It's weird.
I know what.
But
He ran out
the
of
problem I
dog
have
skin.
with
Is
it
it
is like
fabric?
how
I guess.
That's
this
unfortunate.
dog. I'm sorry, but this dog had to have gotten squashed because he had to sew his legs back on. He sewed his neck back on. So you're telling me that you just put a bunch of cut up body parts in that grave? That's the part that was confusing.
Yeah,
me.
no, that I had.
Well,
I was
I mean,
like,
that's
wait,
the
what?
Frankenstein thing is that
Yes, I
he
get
took
it.
a bunch of different body parts.
Yeah, which I
melded them
understand.
together.
I understand that that's like the Frankenstein thing. But it was like a stretch for me. I'm like, oh, but they had to make him look like Frankenstein, so I get it. You know.
Sure.
I thought he was just gonna have like little cuts, like
Right,
little
yeah.
like meat and a meat, and I would have been cool with that. But like,
Well, I figured he would have the things in his
The
neck.
bolts.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
but like he legitimately had
like,
legs
screw
torn
those
off.
in.
His ear
Yeah.
fell off, and he was like, "I'll fix
Oh.
that."
I can fix that.
Because I was being too realistic
I'm a
with
scientist.
it. I was thinking of it as an adult
Right,
with
yeah.
a real dog.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
then I
that's
thought about it like
disgusting.
if I was a kid, that would probably be kind of like, oh, no big deal.
Right,
like
yeah.
if it was your stuffed
Oh,
animal.
his leg fell off.
You
But
know,
you know what's grossing me
But
out
as an
too is like
adult,
he's
I was
obviously his body is still dead, right? Like all he did was reanimate it, so he's not alive. Like his body's dead because the flies were flying
Oh,
around
that's what-
following him everywhere. And then he ate one, and it came out of his neck.
Yeah, that was really gross. That was like straight up body horror.
I'm disgusted. And that's, I think, why I couldn't get into the rest of the movie was because I was paying attention to the realistic,
Aspects.
non-realistic.
Well, and like I said,
aspect.
our dog
How
likes
gross
to
he
eat
was.
flies too. When he's outside, he likes to catch them. And I was like, oh, what if the fly just came out of his neck? It's nasty.
Yeah, that'd be pretty
Ugh.
gross.
It's gross.
It was gross.
Yeah.
It kind of reminds me the body parts. It kind of reminds me of splinching from Harry Potter.
Yes.
How when they first introduce it, when they apparate, when they teleport, there's a chance that they could like lose a body part. And when they first introduce it, it kind of seems like silly, like just a finger plopped off, or oh my elbow's gone, or whatever. And you
They
just
can put it back,
and you just
right?
magically pop it back on, and there's like no blood or anything like that. It's kind of clean cut. But then later in the books, after you've matured, they kind of explain it more, and there's like blood everywhere, and it hurts a lot, and you have to repair it over a long amount of time. And
Yeah,
stuff
like your
that.
body's literally ripped apart.
Yeah. So
I forgot about
they went
that.
with the
Thanks,
more adult version.
Potterhead.
You're welcome.
Looks, at least you called it the right name.
That's right.
Potter nerd.
Not a Potter nerd. Only a Potterhead.
Moving on. Sparky's alive.
So here comes my next problem with this movie.
Sparky's
So then kind of so they go back and forth, and there's all kinds of different things happening.
Yeah.
He like Victor has to go to school, so he tries to hide Frank and Sparky. And
yeah, they never call him Frankenweenie.
no, so Sparky
Yeah.
gets out, and people end up seeing him. Igor sees him, and that's kind of the most or what's his name, Edgar.
Edgar.
That's kind of the most important thing because then he kind of holds it over his head, like you're going to show me how you did that, or I'm going to tell everyone. Well, then these kids literally, over the course of the next couple days, I'm assuming, Igor tells people about it, right? Other
Yeah.
kids and
Yeah, yeah,
things.
Yeah,
Exactly.
he tells other kids.
And they're literally like so into science.
They're all
They're
they're all super into science and all super sadistic at the same
No,
time.
I don't think they're
all
even
like-
super into science. I think they're just freaky. Like these kids
No,
are like,
but they're like-
I'm
they're
going
like-
to reanimate a corpse.
They're like,
I'm
I need to
"Ugh."
know this so that I can win the science fair.
science.
Like,
Yeah, that's
what
what I
is
said.
wrong
What's
with
the
these
prize?
kids?
I must
man.
win the science fair.
What's the prize? $1,000?
By
Are they going to
touching dead
Disneyland? Like,
bodies.
what is this?
Yeah, I don't know what it was.
I don't know. They were really excited. And then I realized this was the point I realized that they were in elementary school.
They are, yeah.
I thought
Oh,
they
I
were
thought they were a
older
little
than that,
older than
dude.
that.
I thought they were at least like
like
Well, maybe they were middle
grade.
school.
no. I know this because I wrote he's in elementary school. What? Because the outside said whatever New Holland
something
Elementary. So then I'm thinking like this is a sixth grader.
Maybe, yeah, they're sixth graders.
Okay, come on.
Yeah, they're real competitive in 6th grade, though, you know.
Real competitive.
Yeah,
Are
that's-
they
Real
reanimating?
technology
They
savvy.
got that science fair. Okay.
Frickin'
Ready to dig up a body at the drop of a hat.
And I think maybe some of them must have won in the past because, you know, Yoko Ono's like, I'm going to win.
Yoko Tadashi. Wait, what was it?
It's not Tadashi. Takasuki.
Tashiaki.
Tukiyaki.
Tashiaki.
Okay, you need to stop.
Disrespecting this man's name. His name
I
is
couldn't
Tashiaki.
remember his name. Is that his last name? Tashiaki?
Tashiaki is his name. Just like
Tashiaki.
Bob is this guy's name and Elsa Van Helsing is this lady's name. His name is Bob.
You know who was freaky, though? That other kid. The, like, taller one.
The
That
one
was,
who looks
that
like...
was like, I don't believe you about the goldfish. And then he was freaky.
Yes.
I can't think of
Yeah.
his name. What was
I
it?
don't remember his name
We
either.
didn't bring up Elsa at all, really. And I think she's kind of
irrelevant.
Well, in some pieces she's kind of important, but not really.
Right.
She's like the next door neighbor she doesn't
She's like
really
girl next door, I guess, kind of to Victor.
She's just living with her uncle.
She's living with her uncle because her parents are somewhere, it seems
I don't
like.
remember where her parents are. They're probably out fighting monsters.
Yeah.
Mm.
And
her uncle is the mayor.
Yeah, and he's mean to her.
Yeah.
And
her
dog
is a black poodle who's the bride of Frankenstein.
Right.
Yes.
The bride of Frankenweenie.
Frankenweenie bride.
Frankenweenie's bride.
Girlfriend.
Freaking girlfriend.
Frankenweenie's sad.
So I guess she's not as important as I thought. Okay.
Yeah.
You're right. She's not that important.
Yeah.
So
voiced by
basically-
Winona Ryder. That's
Basically,
cool.
all of the kids find out about Sparky. They want to learn how to do it. And because Victor showed Edgar how to do it with the goldfish, because it was like, you show me, I'll keep it a secret. But he did not keep it a secret.
Well, because the goldfish...
He just went to the store and bought a dead goldfish.
They did the experiment on the goldfish. The goldfish turned invisible and came back to life.
Which is so weird.
Which is interesting. But
It's
then
also kind of
but
an
then-
evil goldfish. It was like...
But then didn't
But then
explain
it
anything
disappeared.
They didn't explain how the
Where did it
goldfish
go?
just disappeared. Weird.
I mean, I assumed they would just like
Science.
go belly up. Or
They
whatever.
did explain. They said maybe the experiment can only last for a certain amount of time. Because you know how they...
why
You
would
know,
it,
well,
wouldn't it just be a dead goldfish then? Why
Right.
wouldn't it be
I don't know, but you
Why
know how
would
they
be-
had to recharge Sparky because he was feeling low?
Yeah.
So maybe that's what happened to the goldfish, but I don't... Maybe
And
the
it
goldfish
popped out?
disappeared because it was already invisible. I don't know.
Now we're getting mystical.
It just
Yeah.
went... It kept going
Where did it
backwards
go?
in on itself. until
When a
it was
goldfish
nothing.
disappears into the ether, does it come back?
Does it make a sound?
Does it make a sound? So...
But then, so on top of that, though, they want to know how to reanimate stuff. But then, this is what drove me nuts, was that the kids were like, we have to make a better science experiment than
Than
Victor.
Victor, yeah.
Like, so they start doing these, like, weird, their own
Crazy
experiments.
experiments.
Like, trying to fly over the top of a house. This kid...
Tashiaki with the Mentos and the Coke. Is that what he was
Yes,
using there?
exactly. So the unfortunately large child, like, falls off the top
And
of a
breaks
roof.
his arm.
Breaks his arm. And so they have this, like, school board meeting at the school.
To ban science.
Literally,
Oh,
this
the
is what I
science
wrote.
teacher.
It's like Footloose for science at the school board meeting where the mayor is in charge.
Yeah, why is the mayor here?
It's a small town.
I've lived in a small town my entire life, and I've never seen the mayor at
He's
any
the
functions.
superintendent too. Like,
Yeah, I
he does
guess so.
everything. And legitimately,
Why wasn't he just a superintendent? Why was the mayor?
he legitimately 100% ties this poor teacher to the stake and burns him.
Right, yeah. Just
Like-
like,
Yeah, the teacher
you're
didn't
done.
help himself at
It's
all.
over.
He
I
went
didn't
in
tell
there and
these
said
kids
crazy
to
stuff.
do this at all, but I guess I'm fired now.
So he gets fired.
Yeah.
And the gym teacher takes over, which is like, she's like butchy and
Yeah.
cares nothing about anything.
Right.
I think that kind of the most important part of this movie, though, is when... So the science teacher is fired, and Victor really likes the science teacher, obviously, so he kind of leaves the classroom to go outside to see him put his stuff in his car, and he talks to the science teacher, and he's like... asking him, he's like, I have a question. And he's like, my experiment worked the first time, but the second time it didn't. And he's talking about, well, did you love your first experiment? And were you passionate about it or whatever? And he's like, were you the second time? And he was like, no. And he was like, then you changed the variables. So I know this movie's trying to like teach us a deeper thing, but it's still weird.
Yeah, they're trying to put together the idea, I think, that passion for, well, they're using science in this
Yeah.
example, but like, if you're passionate about your experiment or if you're passionate about what you're doing, you're going to definitely get a different result than
different
if you're
results.
not passionate about it.
Sure.
Yeah.
Which I'm cool with, but like, scientifically,
Saying you love your dead dog isn't going to make him come
yeah,
back to life more.
scientifically,
Yeah.
that is not sound.
He did cry onto the corpse the first time, and maybe some salt water added to the overall
isn't
Okay,
Tangled.
experimental variables.
It's not Tangled.
Saline solution
Bro.
on,
Andre's over here in Whimsy
on
land.
the dog corpse.
Anyways.
See, I think that's why I have a problem with this, is that they try to take it to this like super scientific level,
Right.
but then it's also
But
like,
still keep it super kitty and not
It's weird.
but
explain
also
anything.
very not explainable.
not cohesive. It's
Yeah.
not
Like we could have like take it back to Meet the Robinsons. that
Good sci-fi.
was very scientific, but there was so much whimsy that you could just be like, yeah, sounds good. Flying cars, what else?
Right,
like,
yeah.
it was just believable in that world.
Well, it's
This
hard.
world was too real for me to believe
Yeah.
that whimsical things could happen.
Frankenstein is just a weird thing in general. Like, it's not my favorite Halloween story. It freaks me out. And I've read, like, the actual book,
Mary Shelley's Frankenstein.
which I had to read in high school. And,
Shelley.
and it's
Shelley.
extremely morbid.
That's definitely a reference.
Like, literally
It's spelled the
extremely
same way,
morbid,
too.
but the vocabulary is so, like, smarticle that I'm like, I don't even know what's happening.
Smarticle.
There was a word. The vernacular is very eloquent. Okay. You guys, I went back to school this week. My brain's dead.
I am so much more smarticle.
Emily's dying.
I love smarticle. That's a new word. They should put that in the dictionary.
What would Emily do without me? That's my question. She'd never laugh this hard.
I love Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. I think it's a great story, great book. That gets a little odd in its newer incarnations. Like all the other Frankensteins where the monsters basically like this story.
I don't think it was Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. I think it was literally the original Frankenstein.
Mary Shelley's Frankenstein is literally the original
Well, it sucked
Frankenstein.
butt. Okay? Okay, the point is, anyways, so Victor runs back home to find that his mother has found said dead reanimated Sparky,
Yes.
a.k.a. Frankenweenie.
Got him.
And then Frankenweenie gets scared. He hops out the window, and his dad is so mad. His dad is like, "We need to have a talk because you reanimated a corpse, and that is quite disturbing.
Very upsetting.
Very upsetting."
It's not very smarticle of you to have done that, Victor.
Which I don't really blame the dad, because it is creepy to think that your son literally reanimated a corpse. It's
Dug
creepy.
up a corpse, brought it back into your house, messed with it.
Yeah, that's really creepy.
Broke
Like,
the
as a
laws
parent,
of
I would have
nature.
been real.
I would have been highly concerned.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
we're probably going to counseling a little bit after
Little
this.
bit.
Oh,
Just a
yeah.
little bit of
Sparky
counseling.
escapes, and he's like, we have to go find him. And the parents, I feel like they're probably more like, okay, let's do it before anyone else sees it. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? So
They all go out on a man
while
hunt.
they're going
dog
on
hunt.
a manhunt to
dog
find Sparky, his classmates are doing the same experiment that he did to bring Sparky back to life.
Right.
on their
So-
own,
On their own.
live and or dead.
Right.
So
Pets.
yes, so they go to Victor's house while they're gone, go into his attic, take the stuff they need, figure out everything. You know, Edgar shows them, and they all go and get their said pets. So Weird Girl's cat catches a dead bat,
Mr. Whiskers.
and she does it on the dead bat. Edgar does it on a rat that he found in the garbage
Oh
at
my
the school.
Yep.
Tadashi does it on
Does
Shelly.
it on
No.
Shelly, his turtle.
Yes. And then
And they went together. They dug up the turtle, and then the other kid, I can't think
The
of his
tall
name right
kid?
now, did it on his hamster,
Which was in a
Right.
mausoleum.
yeah.
and his name was Colossus.
It was in a full-on
Mausoleum.
mausoleum.
Yeah.
For a
Human
hamster.
size.
He had to-
For a hamster.
He had to raise
How
it
much
from
did that
the dead.
cost him? Jeez. So they do this experiment, and their animals get risen, and they are
Get risen.
creepy.
Get
cat-
risen. Get risen sounds like a Christian rap song.
Get risen.
It's time to get risen.
Yeah, the Lord.
Get risen.
We can't make Emily
He is
laugh
risen.
anymore, guys.
Emily is dying.
You guys broke me again.
Oh, jeez. So let's talk about the cat first. So the cat finds this bat, and as she's about to electrocute the bat, the cat just pounces the bat to eat him. Like, Mr. Whiskers,
So
what are you going to do? Eat that bat?
Cat and the bat
They, like,
get
fuse together.
electrically fused together and reborn at the same time.
And they, like, transformed. It was like...
Well, and I think that's why I get really confused. Like again,
It's very magical.
this is like real whimsical because Sparky just reanimated, just like
Sure.
boop.
Yeah.
And all these other animals turn into like full on horror
Like
story
monsters.
Yeah.
So now we're in straight up monster
Yeah.
squad.
Yeah. Shelley's Godzilla. Mr. Whiskers is a demon. The turtle is a little mummy. Or no, not the turtle. The hamster is a little mummy.
Mummy and the Yeah.
And the sea
And
monkeys.
the rat becomes like
Oh,
a
the
wolf
sea
man.
monkeys.
The sea monkeys.
Are
yeah.
like
they're like creatures from the Black Lagoon.
yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Which
So we
is
got-
fine. I'm cool with all that, but like, I would have liked to know why. Why did they go
Right.
awry, and why was Sparky normal?
He was made with love.
They're just putting in as many references to scary stuff as they could. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
For the adults. I don't know. So, anyways, that happened. Then
And
there's,
Dutch Day is happening
Dutch
at the
Day
same
is
time.
happening.
It's Dutch Day. This is a very important day. For
And
me.
then, so Shelley, as he's like Dracula, huge Shelley, sees like the Ferris wheel and he's like, ooh. So he goes over there, of course, right? He has to. He's Dracula. And just a bunch of fights
I like
happen.
how you call him Dracula.
Godzilla. I'm sorry. You guys, I don't
you know Dracula. You know how
I
he
He
don't
loves
know
lights.
scary monster.
You know how Dracula, he goes to all those lights and things.
And just like a bunch of weird stuff starts happening. Like, Shelley's there trying to tear down the Ferris wheel.
Mm-hmm.
So the one guy with his Colossus mummy hamster is like, kill, like setting his hamster on this giant turtle,
On
which I don't
Shelley.
know how that's going to work.
And
and
then
it
Shelley
literally
just-
just squishes it.
with his foot, like a.
And it made the sound. It went,
yeah.
and I was like, oh.
It was a murder. It was death.
Yeah, it was a murder.
was
So
gross.
All
Colossus
the
is
while, the adults at Dutch Day are
dead. Hiding?
literally being useless.
Yeah, they're not doing.
They're not
too
doing
much.
They're
anything.
looking at these animated animals and are
They're just scared, I
just, like
guess.
scared, I guess.
Ah,
The
oh no.
the
It's just
sea
so
monkeys,
bizarre.
Monster.
The sea monkeys eat popcorn, but they can't have salt, so they just like
They're
internally
freshwater creatures.
explode.
So
It's
the
gross.
salt water pops them
It's
like
actually really
snails.
funny.
Yeah.
Disgusting.
And what happened to Shelley? Oh, they electrocuted it in the water, and it like shrunk him back down.
Right. What
To
But
happened
Shell.
I didn't understand that either, because didn't he get animated through electricity? So why
Right,
would
why would the electricity-
I don't know. He reversed it.
Make him smaller. Why did he get bigger in the first place?
Anyways,
You know,
and then,
these are
and
the
then
unanswered
it gets,
questions.
Then it gets real crazy because that cat bat thingy is still alive. The cat bat. And the cat bat swoops down and takes Penelope, the black dog.
The Bride of Frankenstein.
The Brian and Frank.
Takes that dog and takes him to the New Holland windmill.
Persephone. It was the dog's
Persephone,
name.
thank you. Takes him in there, and that cat's trying to eat that dog. He's like, "Come down to snack."
Hashtag always snacking.
I'm no snack.
So that happens. Then Sparky runs after him, and Victor, and then they're all in the windmill, and then the windmill catches on fire because the stupid mayor has a little torch and lit it on fire like an idiot.
And again,
Yeah.
the adults are useless.
Yeah.
seriously,
Like,
so useless.
As a parent, I'm telling you, if my kid ran in there, I would not let two very small other adults hold me back from going in there.
At one
Oh,
point, Victor
Andre was like,
falls.
"What?"
At one point, Victor falls into the windmill, and it's still all on fire. And so, his dad, Dr. Frankenstein, is like, "Oh, my son!" And then a couple people like lightly put their hands on his shoulder
Yeah,
and go
that's what I
like,
was talking
"No,
about.
it's too dangerous." And Dr. Frankenstein's like, "Oh, all right, cool. I guess my son's dead."
he says like, "That's my son in there," but he doesn't move. He doesn't go.
Like,
anywhere.
Yeah.
oh
I'm
my
like, excuse
God.
They're
you,
just,
both
like,
of them
watching
dudes
the
would have
show.
got
Get your popcorn, I
fists to the
guess.
face, and I would have ran in after my son.
Anyways, it's a happy day, right? Because they get the Victor's out safe.
Is it a happy
The
day?
girl is
Happy
safe.
day.
Frankenweenie comes out, and then that cat bat. I was gonna say something bad.
Mr. Whiskers.
Mr. Whiskers steals Frankenweenie and drags it back into the breaches of hell, which is what it looks like, right? Because it's like on fire, and
And he's like a
Frankenweenie's like,
demon.
"Arr, arr." It's kind of sad.
Yeah, and he's like dragging him back. It's
Yes.
pretty, it's pretty cool. Anyway,
And he died.
Victor. Right, because Victor had gotten out already, right?
Yeah, Victor
Because-
got out.
Sparky dragged this boy out of the fire.
Yeah, he's got superhuman powers for a dead corpse.
At which point, I judged my own dog for not being able to carry me.
He literally looked at our dog and was like, "Dougie, would you do that?" And our dog's just laying there like, "What do you think
Would
I
you
would?"
carry my dead weight body out of a fire, you 14-pound dog? Would you do that?
Well, Frankenweenie's not very big, so
No, he's not. But
Well,
I guess,
Victor's a sixth grader.
yeah,
so-
Victor isn't that much bigger.
yeah, he's a small kid. But just the
But you're pretty skinny, Andre. So what's Dougie's
know?
excuse?
so
Come
wait,
on, Dougie, get it
who
together.
is the cat is supposed to be like Dracula, right? Like a bat?
Yeah, yeah. I
Is
suppose
that
the
why
cat
they
is supposed
killed
to
it
be
with a
Dracula.
stake?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I would say
Because it was a pretty gruesome death
that was
Yeah.
for
very.
Mr. Whiskers.
Yeah.
It, like, they were just fighting in the burning windmill, and then just the building's falling apart, and a wooden stick just happens to slice right through Mr. Whiskers'.
Which was very, I thought,
Black
pretty graphic
burnt
for a
body.
Disney movie.
Yeah.
It was extremely graphic.
It was
Like,
quite
I know
graphic.
it's Tim Burton and graphic things happen, but I was like, jeez.
It was like the sound kashunk, but it didn't show that, and then it showed Mr. Whiskers impaled on the spike.
Yeah.
Mr. Whisker screeched, too. He was like,
Yeah.
like that.
So
Her dead.
this is my next issue, as if there wasn't enough,
Right.
that Sparky now is double dead and burnt.
But apparently he's not
Yes.
burnt because that whole windmill burned down, but Sparky didn't.
I don't know. I feel like he probably had some burnt
Yeah,
flesh.
he probably got some little
Oh, I'm sure,
singes
but I
on
thought you
there.
meant, like,
Maybe
to
that.
me, he would have been
Maybe
like,
that fabric patch got a little
Singed.
got a little singed.
he didn't really look like it.
Yeah,
you
no,
know?
I agree
Sure.
because had he gotten any more messed up, I would have been done. Done. Just
half
done,
of a
done.
burnt face
Gosh.
on Sparky.
Oh my gosh, he's like Two-Face.
Yeah.
Oh.
Right? So anywho, they pull him out, and now the whole town is gung-ho in reanimating Sparky.
The whole town is like, we gotta bring this dog back to life again.
Yeah, did you see what just happened with all the other animals? Let's bring Sparky back.
And they
Sparky was a good
literally,
one.
like, jump start like a car.
They all pull their cars around and get the wires all set up to jump him.
It sounds really silly now that we're talking about it, but I'll have you know that there were like at least 5 tears dripping down my face when Frankenweenie died again. I cried. Because my dog was on my lap looking really cute, and I was like, no, he died again. You didn't cry?
No, because and I'll tell you why. This is where we're gonna get to the more morbid, like aspect of
This movie?
this movie. And if you're like squeamish, I guess you could just not listen. You could just like fast forward or something.
Sure.
But like within the last year, okay, it was like a year and a half ago now. Like my dog that I had literally my entire life, we had to put down, and I chose to go in there when we put the dog down.
Yeah.
And so because she had cancer, the poor dog was I love that dog to death. Dog was very sick though. So when they euthanized the dog, I literally was like having flashbacks because the way that like Sparky kept dying was so, I guess,
Traumatic.
well done.
Right,
And in a
yeah.
like it was very realistic. So I literally was watching
It was
Noe
very
die
real.
on screen.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
it
it
was
sucked.
it was so I couldn't even get past the like it was just too much. I
Yes,
was like, this is
pet
just
death.
very, and I
Well-
like pets much more than I like people.
Right.
Like
Oh,
I
I
like Dougie more
literally-
than I like you, and he's not even my dog.
Wow.
Boom.
I'm obsessed with my
Shots
dog.
Like
so
fired.
watching this
if
movie,
you die, I'll be sad. If Dougie dies, it's a tragedy.
Devastated.
Whoa.
I would be the maid of honor for Dougie's wedding.
This got real, guys. I'm feeling a little bit emotional right now. The point is, I love my dog more.
Oh, I have so much hope for Dougie
Right?
now that
That's
he's
the
gonna
point.
get married someday.
I love my dog more. So, like,
We're gonna have a Who Loves Dougie More contest.
I love my dog. So,
No, you
and
know who
I'm
loves him the most?
Andre.
Andre.
I love
cool.
him like on an emotional level. For like those that don't know, he's my registered emotional support animal. He's my life. He's my world. He's so cute, and I just pet him. And he's a little cuddle bug, and he cuddles me when I'm sad. So like, if he died, I'd be like, well, it's done. Like we're done here. Like I don't know. There's just something
Well,
about
it's done. We're done.
And
here.
I think it's different than my childhood dog because this is my dog.
Oh, definitely.
Like I adopted him. I saved him. I brought him back to
Into this world.
I brought him back to a nice life that he deserved. You know what I mean? So, like, just to even
I
think.
untufted his
And
hair.
as we were watching this movie, I was like, Dougie, you're never allowed to go in the backyard. You never get out of your leash. I'm like yelling at my dog, and he's just looking at me like, chill out, Mom. It's
Yeah.
fine. I'm
I'm
not
like,
going to run
Dougie, don't
after a
let her
ball.
ruin your
Which my
freedom.
dog would totally run after a ball. He ain't going to go into burning fire, but, you know, he'll run after a ball.
He might run into a burning fire after us.
He hates water. Not gonna run.
Fire is the opposite.
And if he's like Andre, he's like, ooh, fire.
Yeah, it's
keep me
toasty
warm.
in here.
He does love being warm. He likes to. His thing right now is to go inside Andre's laundry bag and like curl up in the dirty laundry and just lay in there.
That's disgusting. But dogs do love the smell
He
of their
likes it.
owners, so good
And
for
it's
him.
warm in there probably, so he's like, ooh,
He likes my musk.
it's really gross. Yeah, he doesn't do it with my laundry because I yell at him, but he likes Andre's laundry. But
And
the-
Andre doesn't mind dog
And I
hair,
don't
so.
care. It's fine.
You know, dog doesn't really shed, luckily. So
Go Dougie. Anyway.
the point is, any movie in which a dog dies is extremely hard for me to watch.
Yeah.
Therefore, I don't know how I feel about this movie, and it's also very morbid. It was just pulling at weird feels because I'm like, yay, they brought him back to life, but also that's really creepy. But yay, this child has his love of his life back, but it's also really creepy. So it was just like pulling at
Yeah, it
too
just made
many
me feel too many
ways.
things.
I did find it very interesting that Sparky came back to life again at the end. Like,
I think it because Sparky loved him,
yeah, I get that, but
and he also loved that girl
but
dog.
they also were like in the movie saying like, you know, after something dies, it lives with you like in
your
heart.
So
or
you would think
whatever.
there'd be like a ending to that.
Exactly, rather than just like, or you can know, just have whatever you want and have your dog come back to life. It'll never die.
Yeah, don't
You're
show
good
this to
go.
your children that have a deceased pet. I'm like, Mom, why didn't you do that?
Right? Why don't you just electrocute the dog's body and bring it back to life?
And
But-
it's rough.
I'm disturbed. I won't lie.
But I think that's like a Tim Burton thing, and I would hope that most kids who watch this associate it as like a
it's not a children's
creepy,
movie to me.
non-believable
My kid would have to be at
story.
least in 6th grade to watch this movie.
Is
Even
it
though
PG?
Adeline
Let
loved
me
it,
see.
right?
Dude, she was all into it, and I didn't hate it. I just was like, what?
And just like,
But she's too young to understand that
Oh,
kind
yeah,
of stuff.
she doesn't
So
know
she
what's
just
happening.
thought,
She's
literally,
like, cool.
she thought Sparky
cool,
was
dog.
the fantastic.
we
like,
took her on a haunted hayride, and she thought that was fantastic.
she was
So
making BFFs with the scariest dude on that farm, man.
the clown,
we were freaked
clown
out. and
bride
she was like,
thingy.
Yeah.
look at how cute he is.
So,
It's terrifying.
in terms of Tim Burton, does it live up to Tim Burton weirdness and creepiness and stuff like that? Yes, of course it does. Do I think it's his best work?
Right.
Absolutely
yeah.
not.
It definitely has all of those elements. But I agree that I think I like most of his other movies more than this one.
Like
Like
Corpse Bride.
is
Oh,
better.
love
Nightmare
Corpse
Before
Bride.
Christmas is better.
Did he do Coraline? Because that's the only other
No.
claymation
He did
that
not do
freaks
Coraline.
me out.
But
I can't
Coraline
do
is
Coraline.
better as well.
Yeah. Even like
It is.
Sweeney Todd, and did
Yeah.
he do Sweeney Todd? Yeah.
Mhm. He did
I love Tim Burton, but there's just something about this
Oh,
movie, and I
Beetlejuice.
want to say maybe it's the pet thing, maybe it's the fact that it was like an animal who was freaking me out. I don't know.
Yeah.
So I think we should at this time go into
Dun dun dun
Yeah.
dun dun
Mhm.
dun 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 the Sparky battle.
Sparky battle.
Sparky battle.
It's actually a Tim Burton battle, but yeah,
Tim
you're
Burton
right.
battle.
So here's the deal. We're going to do a different kind of battle this week because there is a fan theory out there. Kind of like how we talked about the Pixar theory when we talked about, Brave, I think?
Brave, yeah.
There is a Tim Burton theory that all of his original films, including Frankenweenie, Vincent, Edward Scissorhands, Beetlejuice, Nightmare Before Christmas, and The Corpse Bride are all connected.
I don't like Beetlejuice, so I take it back. I didn't like Beetlejuice when you had me watch it last year.
Beetlejuice is a masterpiece.
It is weird.
It's got Alec Baldwin and Gina Davis, and
A very, very
and
young
American treasure Michael Keaton,
Oh, well, yeah.
and Winona Ryder,
And
who's, also,
Winona
who's
Ryder.
also an American treasure.
It was weird.
So here's what the battle is going to be. Our battle is going to be battling the theory itself. Like, is
Oh.
this
Is this
Can it be-
feasible?
can it
Can
be
we
real?
agree?
Yeah, we kerfunk it. What is that called when you?
Say that again. Can we kerfunk it?
You know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm talking about, right?
Debunk?
Thank you.
Can we kerfunk it?
Don't even say the word from earlier because I can't remember it, but if you say it, I'm done.
Oh, let's debunk this theory. So, can you read the movies again one more time?
Oh, yeah, and I'll read you the theory.
Okay.
Oh, awesome.
So here's the deal. Frankenweenie, Vincent, Edward Scissorhands, Beetlejuice, Nightmare Before Christmas, Corpse Bride. So
I don't know Vincent.
I'll read it to you I'll read you the idea. Is that so Tim Burton's first ever stop motion short film was called Vincent. Vincent Malloy was a simple boy until he lost his mind. He tried to turn his dog Abercrombie into a zombie, which resulted in the dog being given away. Abercrombie is eventually adopted by Victor, who renamed him Sparky. Here's the idea.
Interesting.
But
okay.
my first problem there is that he tried to turn his dog into a zombie. Was the dog dead? And then he tried to turn it into a zombie?
He tried. He didn't get very far.
Okay, cool.
Let's assume that.
So Vincent had a wife. because he lost his mind, right? So Vincent's wife, quote unquote, never existed, but he did, because he lost his mind, insisted that he had a wife, and he buried her alive and killed her, I guess.
Okay.
And he tried to bring her back to life to rebuild her in a Frankenstein-esque kind of a way.
All right.
And so the theory is that resulted in the creation of Sally, who later, ended up in Halloween Town.
Okay.
Okay, I like this.
Okay,
Interesting.
right. So that leads us to Frankenweenie, our weekly movie.
Mm-hmm.
So after the events of Frankenweenie, like pretend the whole movie happened.
Yeah.
Sparky eventually dies for good, right?
What?
Like actually.
All right.
And they bury him in the pet cemetery.
Well, this is hypothetical, right?
Yes, this is all like quote unquote after the movie happened.
Is it proven that this happened after the movie or no?
No. This is part of the theory.
Okay.
So because he eventually died, he was reburied in the pet cemetery, and because he was in the pet cemetery and underground, he then became a spirit.
Ghost?
He became a ghost, and he was adopted in the afterworld by none other than Jack Skellington. And that would kind of explain, I guess, why Zero's nose glows in the afterlife, because he was electrocuted.
All right.
And this is kind
This
of
is a stretch, man.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. There is a fun fact, though, that in this movie, as an Easter egg, Zero's gravestone is actually seen in the pet cemetery as Victor is walking towards Sparky's grave.
Oh, that's cool.
So,
Sure.
but if
then-
that's true, then why would he already be dead?
Yeah.
But also in Frankenweenie, there's the rat that turns into the monster.
Oh, I'm getting there.
Okay,
Yeah, this is where all of that kind of ties in.
Gotcha.
This is where it's more believable to me. So like they're saying, Abercrombie, the original dog from that first movie, is Sparky, is Zero, right?
Yes.
They have very similar facial structures, and that's, like we had said, that's why his nose is glowing.
Sure.
So Edgar in this movie, Igor, Victor's lab partner, or not so lab partner, wants to bring everything back to light, and the idea is that in his afterlife, like later on when he dies, he then becomes the assistant to Dr. Finkelstein, the guy I hate so much, in Nightmare Before Christmas, to help him recreate the reindeer. And the note here is that they both only have 3 teeth, 2 on the left, 1 on the right.
So
they have
Edgar is Dr. Finkelstein?
No, Edgar is Dr. Finkelstein's
assistant.
assistant.
So you remember how, like,
I
literally
remember who the
one
assistant
scene,
is.
he has the assistant, and he comes up and he's like,
Oh, yes. Okay.
Were rat.
Where rat?
Were rat. Cat rat, I think, right?
Cat
Or
rat.
is supposed to be the Wolfman. So he died by Sparky's electrical shot and then now resides in Halloween Town, growing up to become known as the Wolfman.
Right.
Bob, the sea monkey kid, apparently eventually dies but now lives as a child in Christmas Town. Bob is eventually then chased by a jack-o'-lantern in a box. Jack-o'-lantern in a box. It's the big old fluffy kid. in Halloween.
Okay. All right. Sure.
All of this then leads up to the events of Nightmare Before Christmas, which is the final death of Sparky. This is where it gets real.
Cray.
Gets a little cray-cray. So pretty much with any of the actual characters in the movie, the fan theory is that they all get adopted because they lose their minds, pretty much.
Okay.
Victor's parents buy him a new dog after Sparky dies in an attempt to help him get over Sparky. That dog's name is Scraps. Scraps, too, eventually dies of unknown causes, and after losing that second dog, Victor loses it, runs away, and eventually gets adopted by the Van Dorts. And that's where the Corpse Bride comes in.
Okay. So Victor is
Victor.
Victor from the Corpse Bride. That makes sense because
Oh.
they look exactly
They
alike.
do look
They are the
alike.
same character.
The
Yes.
eyes.
Shortly after being adopted, he is forced into an arranged marriage to Victoria Everglot, whose parents, Finis and Maudlin, set up the marriage to save them from the poorhouse.
Right.
And like we said, they look eerily similar. It's not even like Tim Burton style. They have the same eyes,
They look
Right.
alike.
same nose, same chin, same awful voice.
It's animated Johnny Depp.
Oh my
Legitimately from Edward Scissorhands,
Yeah.
right? I'm actually gonna go past some of these characters because it goes on, and we can actually post
For
this.
all the
Right.
Frankenweenie ones?
all of the
Wow.
characters. Weird. This is the one I actually thought was pretty funny. So if you've seen Edward Scissorhands, you might remember the girl Kim from that movie. So it was like the girl who wasn't afraid of Edward.
Edward,
okay.
She was like blonde, and she was like kind of like popular or whatever.
Sure.
That's supposed to be the weird girl. So because she's seen all this crazy stuff, she then becomes she also gets adopted.
Okay.
And she becomes Kim in that movie, and that's why she's not afraid of anything that she sees there. And that's why she didn't have a name, because her name was already Kim.
Right. Yeah. Kim the weird girl.
Yeah, Kim the weird girl. So there's some similarities.
There's some stuff I do like.
Yeah.
But I mean, any fan theory to me is a stretch. So,
well, here's my problem. I kind of go back and forth between thinking like, hey, that's kind of cool. And on the other hand, he ran out of ideas.
Yeah, that's the problem when you try to make an interconnected universe out of stuff that definitely wasn't designed to be an interconnected universe.
You're assuming so much. Oh, so you're assuming that they bought Victor another dog after Sparky apparently died,
and that he lost his mind after a second dog died.
You're assuming so much stuff that's not been said. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
To like try to connect things.
I would just like him to say he lost his mind after regular Sparky. Like, why does
Right,
he need a second dog? Like, that was enough.
Yeah.
Like,
exactly.
I get the Victor thing because they do look identical.
Well, literally, he has two main characters named Victor that are exactly the same person.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. And I like the thing, like how his first movie, like they were named like that, and then they were in Frankenweenie. Like, I get all that. And maybe he just likes using all the names of characters of like scary people. You know, that's probably like a theme he goes for. But Tim Burton, he's just so freaky, and I like it.
See, I'm not a huge Tim Burton fan. I'll throw it out there. I'll be the one to say it. He's not my favorite, and really,
I only like the certain movies.
I like Nightmare Before Christmas, but it was an acquired taste. The first time I watched it, I wasn't huge on it. And
it's
took
the
me,
music.
Yeah, and this is Danny Elfman too, but I didn't appreciate it like I did the other.
And also, we had discussed this, but Nightmare Before Christmas isn't even actually a movie directed by Tim Burton.
Yes.
So
that's probably why I like it more. I like Edward Scissorhands.
I like The Corpse Bride. I like Beetlejuice. I like Batman and Batman Forever.
I like Corpse Bride a lot. It's really good.
Did you guys watch Big
And I
Fish?
love Sweeney Todd.
I did not watch Big Fish.
But it's not like
Sweeney
Tim
Todd's
Burton
good
wrote Sweeney Todd. You know what I mean?
Right,
like,
yeah.
That story's been around. He just directed it.
Yeah.
But
Well, it's a musical.
He did Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter?
Dude,
I
me and
didn't know
Luis
that.
watched that.
Oh, he co-produced it. Goodness.
was it good? No.
It's called Abraham Lincoln Vampire
I don't know.
You know
So
why we
that's
watched
exactly
it?
how good it
You
is.
know what? Pride,
He's
Prejudice,
my
and
favorite-
Zombies was good. So.
He's my favorite president, and Luis loves vampires.
Vampires? It's a match made in
So
heaven.
if we literally watched it because it was like, we need to watch this.
That's how I felt
happen.
about Pride, Prejudice, and Zombies. I was like, ooh, this is going to be good. And it was good.
Tim
But,
Burton is
alright.
he's directing Dumbo, the live-action Dumbo movie that's coming out.
It's going to be
Next
good.
year.
No, it's going to be good. It's going to be freaky.
That's gonna
You
be
can tell
very
just from the
interesting.
trailer that it's going to be a little bit freaky.
But should Dumbo be freaky?
It's freaky that an elephant can fly, so yes. You know what's going to be freaky is the other people in the circus. Think about the way he can make them look. And
Okay,
like, you
yeah,
know.
that'll be very Batman
American
and Beetlejuice.
history. It's going to be
American Horror Story Circus or whatever it was.
If Lady Gaga's in it, I'm down.
I don't think Lady Gaga.
How much money did this movie
Hold on.
make?
We didn't finish our battle.
Oh,
So, how believable is
it ain't believable.
this fan theory?
No, I debunk it.
Do we kerfunk it?
Kerfunks. The Pixar one is more believable to me
Yeah,
because they're not assuming as much as this one.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think I like the interconnections between the Pixar ones a little bit more than this. This one has some good stuff, but then there's also some stuff that takes
And
too
also,
far
you're
of a leap.
leaving out like a lot of Tim Burton movies in this theory. If he's saying they're all interconnected, he's
Right.
saying only these specific.
Because like it would make
Right.
sense if it was like all of the animated ones or all of the live action ones. But it's
Yeah.
kind of a mix. And
It's
that's-
kind of weird
and
saying
that's a
that the
little odd.
animated one goes into a live action and
Yeah.
vice versa. So I'm gonna debunk it. I'm gonna say
No, you're going to kerfunk it.
I will.
Kerfunked.
I will say it's like
4%. 4 out of 10.
it's like 78% kerfunked, and then the rest.
You just said 4%, and then you said 4 out of 10. That's not the same.
I realize that now.
And then he said 78. We're on a just.
Yeah.
I'm in college.
78%. 78% is debunked, and the other 22%. I'm cool with.
Okay, I kerfunk it.
Yeah.
But I thought it was interesting that someone tried really, really hard
They
to do
tried.
that.
That person
Right.
really likes
At least
Tim
this
Burton.
person didn't write a thesis on it like the Pixar guy did.
Yeah.
I'd write a thesis on a Pixar thing any day.
any day, today.
You gonna get up
Right
in front of
now.
a panel and freaking defend that?
No.
No, I don't think so. All right.
Ladies and gentlemen.
This is my Pixar theory.
Tim Burton battle.
Thanks.
Do you want to know the Easter eggs?
Yes.
So here's some other Easter eggs. This is interesting because I literally typed in like Frankenweenie Easter eggs, Frankenweenie secrets, trying to find all kinds of stuff. Couldn't find anything, but I found my own. So I'm just gonna like say what I saw when I was watching this movie.
Say
like
what
that.
you need to say.
So I'm saying it. There was a 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea poster in Victor's bedroom.
Okay. Like that.
I noticed Bambi.
Well, yeah, that one's coming. The Pet Cemetery sign, like we talked about, looked like the Stephen King thing. The Bambi sign was shown on the cinema sign, which was cool. And then this one I actually did like because we had been making those connections between Nightmare Before Christmas and here and all the other Tim Burton movies. The mayor, during the Dutch Day. We're going to call it Dutch Bros. During the Dutch Day celebration was wearing the same exact mayor pin as the mayor wears in Nightmare Before Christmas.
Oh.
It was the same
That's cool.
circle with the thing.
That's cool.
But it was the same writing and everything. It was either they used the same like thing on him for stop motion.
They were like, let's use the same
See,
thing.
because that's not a thing where like that guy could have like died and become the mayor from Nightmare Before Christmas.
I don't particularly think so.
I'm just an elected official, Jack. Jack.
Turns his head around. Wow, we're watching that movie. Yes, we are. I love it. Give me the money,
Yes.
Did this movie make a lot of money?
So this movie made some money.
Money's
I did see it in the theater. The first time
Monies
I
were
saw it,
made.
I saw it in the theater with my mom. I just pushed it out of my mind and didn't remember it at all.
Oh,
I had never seen this movie.
I did not see it in the theater. I believe
I
I
did.
saw it on.
I don't know why we went.
I
Maybe
think-
because it was a dog, and my mom was like, "Let's go see it."
I feel like your mom doesn't like scary stuff.
She
though.
doesn't.
It
It's
looks
only
like
rated
a scary
PG. I
movie.
guess it's not that scary.
You
It
know
was
what?
scary.
There was some things. in
Mr.
this
Whiskers
movie.
was pretty terrifying.
Weird girl.
Weird girl's eyes.
Oh, she didn't blink.
She needed.
She looked dead, dude.
Eyelids.
Stop looking at me like that.
This movie had an estimated budget of around $39 million, and it ended up making around $81.5 million. And I think that's like a worldwide number.
That's a flop then,
too.
kind of.
Yeah, cumulative worldwide gross of $81 million, which is not a lot for a Disney movie. That is pretty lowly
Tim
rated.
Burton's an acquired taste. We all know this, but I just still don't think it's his best work. You know what I mean?
However, the Rotten Tomatoes score on this movie was 87%.
Are you serious?
People liked it. The audience score is 70%. And the
So critics liked it.
IMDb score is 7 out of 10.
Oh.
So, yeah, people like this movie. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And this movie, I think I might have mentioned this, but I believe it did come out at around the same time as that other
Oh,
other
Paranorman.
claymation
Right?
animated movie. Yeah, Paranorman, which is not Disney, directed by Chris Butler.
I haven't seen Paranormal.
But it came out the same year, 2012. So it
Like,
was
well,
both
that
these
sucks.
movies. And I remember liking Paranorman more than Frankenweenie.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Maybe because it had color.
Maybe that was it.
Black and
Do you want to
white.
know? You know, want to know one of the facts I found out about this movie?
Mm.
What?
It was shot in color, and then
And
they
then converted to black and
converted
white.
it to black and white.
That's dumb.
That keeps like the blacks deeper and the whites wider.
I
Well, and I
think it's
wonder,
just
do you
something
think
about
they did that because it was supposed to be like 50s-ish?
Well, yes, because
Like
it's
time
supposed to be
period.
it's supposed to be
Yeah.
playing off of like the
Like
the-
older
the
horror
time
movies.
setting and then older horror movies. And also this is technically a remake of a short that Tim Burton did
Right,
in
the live-action
84. Yeah,
Frankenweenie.
live action Frankenweenie.
Interesting.
So there's that. Yeah.
All right.
Quite.
It's there.
Quite.
I think
Rated.
I think that before we do that, just real fast, I think the hard part about the stop motion is that we talked about it in Nightmare Before Christmas episode, but like there is so much involved with stop motion.
Yeah.
It takes like regardless of the money it takes, the time it takes. I think that they say that they have to like change the position of a character 24 times to make up 1 second
Yeah.
of film.
That's a lot.
So
yeah,
you're
'cause
literally
it's 24 frames per second, so they take
Yes.
24 different pictures, and
So-
they have to move it every single time.
So think about like the time, like time worth money type of a thing.
Yeah.
Like that is
But-
ridiculous.
but-
It's a lot.
People, I guess not everybody. Like, I'm not a huge fan of claymation. I have seen other movies in claymation. It's not my thing. I like it in Nightmare Before Christmas, and I deal with it in Corpse Bride. But like, I'm not. Every time a claymation movie comes out, I'm not running to the theater to go see it. Like, it's not my thing.
I like claymation,
but people like working with it or
Yeah.
stop motion in general. I have a kid that I work with who likes stop motion, so he like takes pictures of the action figures and he'll move them and then like plug it all together, and I'm like, I don't have the patience for that. Like, I'm not into it. Like,
Right.
I don't know. That's just, it's a hard
Yeah,
craft.
like the Lego movie is technically stop motion. They do that same kind of thing.
I'm okay with it
all
there.
Legos,
You know
which
why
is-
it's funny there is because
they're
that's the way they
Legos.
move.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's cooler in that way.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
But the one thing that bothered me about the clay part or the doll part of it in this movie was that their faces, like, it would get super close to their faces in
You could
comparison.
see the
Yeah.
clay. On one of the guys, it was bugging me because think about if you sculpt clay, you can leave like grooves
Yeah,
in
like
it.
you could see their
There was
fingernail.
one face-
Right.
There was one face that had so many. I think it was.
It was the tall kid.
Yeah, the skinny one, and I could see like the clay grooves from when they were
Is his
shaping
name
it, and I
Bob?
was like, "Why didn't you smooth that out?
So I
Didn't
feel
they
like
teach you
Bob
that in
was the
ceramics?"
unfortunately large one.
Right. Yeah, that's right. Bob was a big guy.
But you know,
No, I know. That's what I'm saying. Like, I was like, wow, we're very close, and I can see a lot of grooves on your head, girl. Boy.
Yeah.
Brah.
Bruh.
bruh.
Yeah.
okay.
Now I'm thinking about like the Corpse Bride is like a much cleaner look.
It is.
Well, and I wonder if the color
its
makes,
claymation.
like, difference.
Yeah, that's
you know?
that's
I
possible.
think-
In
I'm
black
sure
and
it
white, you're
does.
just paying attention to exactly what you're looking at.
Right.
I'm sure it has something to do with it.
Yeah.
You ready to rate it?
Yes, I am going to give this movie a
4.
7.0.
It's really a 7.
Yes, I'm gonna give it a 7. I enjoyed it when I was awake during it, and I would watch this movie again. Probably not anytime soon, but in the future, I can see myself watching it again. It's good enough for that. There's some funny stuff.
I'm gonna give it 5.5. It was not my cup of tea. I cried. It made me feel things, but that doesn't mean it was a good movie. You know what I mean? Like, just because you cry and like you felt something in the movie doesn't mean that you liked it or it was good.
True.
So, and I just can't connect with it that much. Like, there was good things about it. I'm not gonna give it like a 2, but I'll give it a 5.5. It is what it is.
It is what it is.
It's Nightmare Before Christmas is like a 10 to me, so it's like hard, you know?
I have a
Right,
hard
that's
I'm going to
true.
have a really hard time rating this because, like I said when I started off, just like you, Michelle, it's just not my type of movie. So I don't want to say, like, it's awful.
Right.
It's just not what I like. So, like, on my liking genre, it's like a 2. Like, I do
Yeah.
not want to watch this again.
Right.
I will not. I don't care if
will
Addie
not.
liked it. Like, you unlike it.
You're done.
You will not be watching No Frozen. You will not be watching No Frankenweenie. Just kidding.
She watching Frozen.
I'm just kidding. I like Frozen.
Wow, we heard
Oh.
from Luis.
In
He's
case you
laughing.
didn't know, Luis is over there and he's
making,
saying,
a
nah.
noise.
He's grading papers, but he woke up for that.
Yes, he did. He literally had his...
He's asking about pizza. Luis, do you want to come over here for 1 second and say one thing on the podcast?
Everyone's wondering where you're at anyway. But so I'm going to say, like, the quality of the movie, I'm going to give it like a 6. So I'll rate it a 6. But, like, did I like it as a 6? No, I did not.
Right. Okay. So, Luis, we got a question a couple of weeks ago, and I missed it last week. But on our Patreon...
Oh, we
hang on
got a
second.
question,
We got a
Louis.
question on Patreon. And this is regarding, I believe, the Beauty and the Beast episode. One moment while I pull it up. Sorry, I had to log into Patreon. On Patreon, on the... Where is it? Goodness gracious. Here it is. Okay, so a fan writes in. Mary Angela says, I have a question. Has Luis's opinion of Josh Gad changed after watching the live-action Beauty and the Beast? Your opinion?
I really just despise his entity as Olaf.
Right. It's not the man.
I don't
it's
despise
not the
him.
actor.
I just despise him as Olaf.
Right.
That's very real of you, Luis.
So your
And my
opinion has
daughter
not
will
changed.
not be watching Frozen.
Yes, she will. When
You
she
have
comes
one
to
choice.
Auntie Shell's house, she will
Well, she
be
never
watching The
go
Little
in
Mermaid.
Auntie
Daddy,
Shell's
I
house.
love him.
We got plenty of.
Okay, you
movies to
you
show
get one
her.
choice: Little Mermaid or Frozen.
Oh, Little Mermaid all day.
Okay, no Frozen.
All
then.
day. There you heard it here first, guys. He doesn't necessarily hate Josh Gad.
Yes, correct.
Anyways.
All right.
Okay. that is it for this week on the Walt Vault. So next week on the Walt Vault, we are watching a movie that you are going to pick for us. And you get 3 different Halloween-y choices. All of our movies that you get to choose from are Disney TV movies. So you can choose either Don't Look Under the Bed,
Don't do it.
The Tower of Terror,
Get terrified.
or Halloween Town.
Jinkies, Marnie. I realized that was all kinds of bad.
Those are your
It's so
3
funny
choices.
because what I remember from Halloween Town is like the song when they first get to Halloween Town. It's like, doo, doo, doo. I don't remember it.
All I remember is the song. I don't remember it.
You don't remember Ghost Sweat?
The
Benny.
Ghost Sweat. Yeah.
And Benny.
Yeah. Don't Look Under the Bed had the creepy pink goo. I don't
Ew.
remember what the pink goo was
Ew.
doing, but it was pink and it was gooey.
It was gooey.
Clubber?
Creepy pink.
That was green.
No, that's a different movie.
So vote for Halloween Town.
Well, vote for whichever movie you want us to discuss more.
So, Don't Look Under the Bed, Tower of Terror, Halloween Town.
Yes.
Not
3
Halloween
options.
Town 2. Not Halloween Town
No,
3.
not the Halloween Town sequels.
Not
yet.
Revenge of Calabar.
Revenge of
Calabar's Revenge.
Not Halloween Town High.
That's not even a real thing.
I know.
No, I mean, it's a thing, but
it doesn't exist.
It's
It's non-existent.
It's
Yeah.
unexisted.
Just like the Descendants.
Just Halloween.
So if you want to go to vote for that, go to our Instagram page. We're at the Walt Vault Pod on Instagram. Go there, and the post to vote on all the movies will be up. Comment on what your favorite one is, and we'll tally up the votes by the end of the week. and
What in the
watch the
world?
movie. I was attacked just now. In addition to Instagram, we're also on Twitter and Facebook. Go to @WaltVaultPod. Check us out there. Send us a DM. Send us an email. Slide into our demons. Slide into our demons. It's Halloween.
Deep ends.
No, demons, not deep ends. Slide into our deep ends.
Now you have
The
to cut
deep
that
end of
out.
the pool.
That's dirty.
The deep end of the pool. It is dirty because I haven't cleaned it in months, but it's the deep end of my pool. Anyway, slide into those. Send me an email to contact@thewaltvaultpod.com. And if you do so, I may read your message on the show, just like I read Mary Angela's today. Shout out to Mary Angela. Yes.
Also, next week marks a very important week for us.
Oh, yeah.
Tell them what it is.
You.
It's your anniversary. Our anniversary.
It is the 1-year anniversary of the Walt Vault. We did it, you guys. We did this for a year
One
straight.
whole year.
A whole
Every
year.
single week for a year.
Wow,
Yeah.
that means I saw you every single week for a year.
I saw you so many times per every single week this
Right,
year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've seen each other
I
a
like
lot.
it. Got a friend in me.
You
I'm
got a
saying.
friend in me. Hey, we
Yes,
did that one.
So keep an eye out for a very special collage video.
Oh my.
I can't talk anymore, guys. Michelle out.
Slide into our demons.
Slide into our demons. Like, subscribe, rate, comment, do all of that stuff. Hey, YouTubers, I see you. I see you watching this on YouTube. Comment down below.
Comment.
Comment. Hit subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you know when our episodes are up. Spoiler alert, it's every Monday. Everybody else, go to iTunes. Subscribe there. We love you guys. Rate us and review us. If you want to get access to more content, go to patreon.com/thewaltvault. Get access to our after show. It's only $1. You're not going to miss it. You know? Put $1 up. Help us keep the lights on. It is so dark in this vault right now because it's Halloween.
Which is actually funny
man.
because today it's actually dark.
It is dark in here.
We had to dim the lights because Michelle has a migraine.
Because we can't afford it. You got to get up the Patreon to give us $1.
Okay, no migraine. It's
See, we'll
because I
play.
can't afford my electricity. Thank you.
Anyway, that's been it for us, you guys, this week. We'll see you next week for the fan vote. The vault is now closed.